Hello and welcome to another episode of A Fist for the Lenses. In this episode, we'll be taking a closer look at the iconic and versatile 28mm focal length. Whether you're into shooting landscapes, street photography, or even portraits, a 28mm has a place in your camera bag. So in this episode, we'll be asking 3 questions. Why was it so popular in the past? Is it still relevant for our day? And out of the 5 28mm we'll be testing, which one nails it best? Well, let's find out together. In this episode, we'll be looking at 5 28mm from the big manufacturers from the 1970s and the 1980s. One from Nikon, one from Canon, one from Minolta, Pentax and Olympus. So why are we looking at 28mm from the days of extra wide collars, bell-bottom trousers and platform shoes? Well, back in the day, most serious photographers would have had a 28mm in their camera bag, making it an important battleground for the big manufacturers. In such a hotly contested space, a lot of research and development went into producing a good 28mm, which is excellent news for us, as it means there's a lot of great 28mm out there to choose from. Our 5 lenses span from 1974 through to 1983. So what was the world like during this period of time? Well, let's take our trip together down memory lane. In 1974, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor get divorced. In 1975, they remarry. And in 1976, they get divorced again. Make up your mind. In 1977, the words good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and shopaholic first appeared in print. Presumably before this date, we were all fine physical specimens and we only shop for our basic needs. In 1978, my uncle bought his wife a brand new fridge freezer. I can still see her face light up when she opened it. In 1979, my grandfather announced to the family that he could tell if somebody was judgmental just by looking at them. Anyway, that was the world during this period of time where we saw great advancement and change. What about today? Does a 28mm have a place in your camera bag? Well, let's find out. As usual, all the images and video will be shown straight out of camera, without any editing or color grading. So you get to see how the lens performs in its rawest form, with its strengths, weaknesses, and true character, undisguised. So let's get out there in the real world and put these old classic lenses through their paces. So let's start with the oldest lens in the test, the Nikon 28mm AI from 1974. Its optical construction is 7 elements in 7 groups. Through using the lens, I've noticed that the color palette is quite distinctive and is easily recognizable from the other lenses tested here. Personally, I prefer lenses that render a little warmer than this. That's not a criticism of the lens, as it's only a personal preference. But straight out of camera, the images appear cool and muted to my eye. A definite strength of the lens is its build quality, and I would say out of all the lenses tested here, it's the best in this regard. Now let's deliberately shoot into the light and see how the lens handles flares. It produces green flares that are quite distracting and unattractive. But of course you could eliminate most of this by using a lens shade, as this next shot shows. The next lens is a Pentax from 1977. Its optical construction
is 7 elements in 7 groups. The build quality is within an ace of the Nikon. The colour palette to my eye is more pleasing than a Nikon straight out of camera, but this is very subjective and just down to taste. What is not up to debate is its size. It's much smaller than most of the other lenses in the test, with only the Olympus being comparable in this regard. This is an excellent example of why 28mm was so popular in the past. You can easily put this lens in a pocket and carry it around all day, allowing you the creative flexibility to quickly switch focal lengths for landscapes or street photography. Let's deliberately shoot this lens into the light and see how it handles flares. It flares in a way that can add atmosphere to a scene, although I needed to angle the lens just right to get it to flare. And you can easily eliminate the flares if it's something you want to avoid. I was impressed with this lens. Its combination of a beautiful colour palette, inherent sharpness, build quality and affordability make this one I can recommend. If you're patient, you can typically pick up a copy for around £40. And in fact, I only paid £30 for my copy, which is a steal. Our next 28mm is a Minolta from 1977. Its optical construction is 7 elements in 7 groups. Build quality is good, no real complaints, but feels a little plasticky compared to the Nikon. Even so, compared to many modern autofocus lenses, it feels very well constructed. This is another lens with a beautiful colour palette and is equal to the Pentax in this regard. Minolta lenses are very good optically and a good alternative as you can get some real bargains. As the name is not as well known amongst younger photographers as the other makes in this test, as they no longer make cameras, as their camera division was bought out by Sony. But during the 1960s through to the 1990s, they were a very strong competitor to Nikon and Canon, and made some outstanding optics over the years. Minolta was an innovative company that were pioneers in lens coatings. And of the Minolta lenses I've tested so far, they tend to exhibit a beautiful colour palette. Only in lens flares do I find them sometimes a little disappointing. Several Minolta lenses I've tested produce a rainbow-like flare that I feel is unnatural and distracting, as you can see in this next shot. But again, it's quite easy to avoid the flares through a lens hood or a lens shade. Now for a 28mm from Canon from 1979. The optical construction is 7 elements in 7 groups. The build quality is okay, but the lens does incorporate plastic in its construction. But like the Minolta, it's aged well and feels well put together, but maybe not as well made as the earlier Nikon, for example. Optically, the lens gives a good accounting of itself. Maybe a fraction sharper than the Pentax and Minolta, but I'm really splitting hairs here, as it's difficult to separate them. The colour palette is another strength, and on times quite modern looking in its rendering. And all this from a lens from 1979. I feel a 28mm is a timeless focal length, still as relevant today as it's always been. I'm particularly enjoying using 28mm lenses for street photography. It's also such a convenient lens to carry around, easily fitting in a coat pocket. Where the Canon fails to impress is in its bokeh, which I find quite busy looking. I prefer the Minolta in this regard, but again, that's just a personal preference. Our final lens is from Olympus, circa 1983. The lens optical construction is 6 elements in 6 groups. The build quality is good. Its small, compact nature fits in with the Olympus design philosophy of making small, beautifully engineered cameras and lenses with no excess bulk. This lens dimensions are similar to the Pentax. One thing I've noticed from Olympus lenses from the 1970s and 80s is that I've come across a lot of 50 f1.8s and 28 f2.8s with fungus in. Maybe I've just been unlucky, but I advise checking carefully before buying. I would describe the lens as acceptably sharp, but a fraction behind the best in this regard. The beautiful colour palette is a strength of the lens, but the bokeh is similar to the Canon in that it gets a little busy when focusing close up. So which 28 to the test nails it best? Well, this is a difficult one. Build quality, I have to give it to the Nikon, with the Pentax close behind. Price goes to the Minolta, as the lack of market recognition keep prices low. For colour palette, I would put the Pentax and Minolta as my favourites, but this is only personal taste and a very subjective thing. Sharpness, I give the nod to the Canon, as I believe it's fractionally ahead of the others in the test. Bokeh, I give a slight edge to the Minolta, as it's able to give beautifully smooth, creamy and dreamy bokeh. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to bokeh. But my overall favourite is the Pentax, as it scores highly in all departments. With its beautiful colour palette, its small, compact and excellent build quality, and also gives the most beautiful and usable lens flares. And finally, it won't break the bank. But whatever lens you decide, none of these are a bad choice, and each has its individual strengths. So pick up a 28 and enjoy using this timeless focal length.
So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that review of 5 classic 28mm from the days of bell-bottom trousers, platform shoes and extra wide collars. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and this will encourage me to produce more content and keep the channel growing. And if you really did enjoy the video, please consider leaving a comment and sharing it with your friends. And this will really encourage me to make even more content. But I can tell I've been indoors for far too long. It's time I got back out there in the real world. Bye for now.
If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and ring that bell. And then who knows, maybe we'll see each other out there in the real world, snapping away happily with a fistful of lenses. Until next time, bye for now.